Good morning, everyone. My name is Byron Lehman, and this is a YouTube channel, The Jittery Goat. And I also have a website, The Jittery Goat, at jitteryg.com. And there's where you'll find my short stories and links to my novels. This morning, in fact, it is morning right now. It's a little bit before 7. The sun hasn't quite come over the mountains yet. So I thought I'd go ahead and do this video right at the beginning of the day. So the short story I'm going to link everyone to is kind of holds a lesson. What do we do when someone close to us dies? A friend dies or something like that, and maybe we're with them during their last hours or even minutes, and that can be kind of a tough situation. Sometimes we just sit there, and that might be the best thing to do. But what about when they're still able to speak, to communicate, and exchange ideas? What can you do, especially when both of you know what the inevitable is? Well, this short story kind of solves that problem a little bit. And again, it's not the cure-all. There's several things that could be done. But this has to do with allowing the person to do something that they really enjoy, something that's brought them joy in their life, but also brings the other person joy too. So I think you'll enjoy this story, because I think it accomplishes that. It accomplishes that for both persons, because the protagonist in this story is a man, and he's going to live, and his wife is going to die. And she's given up a career, so to speak, as a violinist, to raise a family, to take care of her husband, so to speak, to be a housewife. And maybe she had another career doing something else, but the violin was always something that was in her heart, and she never got to accomplish that. And so at the very end, well, you'll have to read the short story and find out exactly what happens. I know you'll enjoy it. Now, in addition to that, is what I've done in the middle of that short story. I provided a link to that musical piece, Meditation from Thais. And when you get there, just to help you out a little bit, imagine the woman that's playing this in the video as maybe the woman that's dying. And see how it works for you. Like I say, it's something that's very emotional. So speaking of from a standpoint of someone reading it, that's what it's about, and I think that's what it accomplishes. And I think it's something that you're going to remember too. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, let's take a look at it. Where did it come from? Well, again, it's something that when I listened to that, I was listening to that piece of music one night on my computer. And I listened to it a couple times, and I thought about the situations in my life. Now, I've never lost my wife. She's still alive and with me. And but I lost a sister, and I was with her up until her last moments. I lost my mother. I talked to her on the phone. We were 2,000 miles apart. I talked to her about 5 minutes before she died. And so these were the things that I was thinking about as I wrote this. And of course, I think sometimes writers will push away the real emotion, the real story, and write in what they might think of as the abstract. And so that's what I did. I wrote in this. I put it on somebody else. I put it in another situation because it was too close. However, I have to say that when I wrote this, and I think I've expressed this several other times, that I did come to tears. When I edited it, I did the same thing. And that's the emotional effect it had on me. Now, if you're a writer, I think that I was just listening to something not too long ago about John Steinbeck. He said that if something is very emotional or too emotional for you and so forth, leave it out. And that's maybe one of Steinbeck's rules, I think. And you may be an adherent to that rule and see the value in it. And I do see the value in it because sometimes introducing something very emotional uh, takes away from maybe the flow of the book, the flow of the story. If it's introduced too soon in the book, in the middle of the book, or close to the end, it could just destroy the flow of the book. It's so powerful, it's so good that it takes away from what you're trying to accomplish. I understand that. However, what if you had this idea, this emotional story you want to get out? Well, if you're an adherent to the Steinbeck rule, what you might do is take that, set it aside, write a short story now, get it out of your system, but put it into a short story. Don't throw it away. If it's something that moved you emotionally and you felt the need to write about it in the book and you couldn't because you're an adherent to Steinbeck rule, don't completely throw it away. Give it its own space. Let it stand on its own. And I think you'll probably find that you might have just in a small sense, a literary nugget. And but don't throw it away. Uh, you could leave it in. You could just think, well, Steinbeck was an old drunk and he didn't know what he was talking about. But it's really up to the writer. So that's something you can do as a writer. So I hope you enjoy the short story. I'll put the link below. And as always, do good stuff, read good stuff, write good stuff, and see good stuff in others.